What if Heartland Season 20 does not begin with the peaceful new chapter fans are expecting? What if Episode 1 opens the door to a decision that could change Amy's life, shake the Fleming family, and make viewers question whether this beloved story is heading toward its final goodbye? After everything Heartland has been through, Season 20 could be more than just another season. It could be the start of the biggest emotional chapter yet. And the most surprising part may be what happens to Amy when the new season begins. Heartland Season 20 is already creating huge questions among fans. And one of the biggest is what Episode 1 will actually bring. After years of watching Amy grow, build her life, protect the ranch, and help horses in need, she is now standing at another major turning point. The new season has the chance to take her story in a direction we have never seen before. And if the early story clues are anything to go by, Episode 1 may waste no time creating a new problem for Amy and the people closest to her. The first episode needs to do more than simply continue the story. It has to show us what has changed at Heartland and what the future could look like. Amy has always been someone who tries to keep her family together, even when her own life becomes complicated. But this time, she may be forced to make a choice that affects everyone around her. A decision like that could create tension at the ranch and leave Amy wondering whether she is still following the path she truly wants. There is also another reason this premiere could feel different. Season 20 carries a huge emotional weight because fans are not only asking what happens next, they are asking how much longer this journey can continue. Could the new season be preparing viewers for a final chapter? Or could it surprise everyone by opening a completely new future for Heartland? That question makes Episode 1 even more important. The premiere could quietly place clues throughout the story, showing where Amy, the family, and the ranch are heading. A simple conversation, an unexpected arrival, or one difficult decision could become the moment that changes everything. And that is why the first episode may not be about saying goodbye just yet. It may be about showing us what Heartland looks like when the people we know and love are forced to face a future they never expected. The biggest question surrounding Heartland Season 20 is not only when Episode 1 will arrive, but what kind of story will begin when it finally does. After such a long journey, fans are expecting the premiere to feel special, and there is a strong chance the opening episode could immediately put Amy in a situation she cannot simply walk away from. Instead of starting with a quiet day at the ranch, Episode 1 could begin with a problem that forces Amy to make a difficult choice. One of the most exciting possibilities is that the premiere will focus on a major change in Amy's personal life. She has spent so much of her journey balancing her family, her work with horses, and the future of Heartland. But what happens when those three parts of her life no longer fit together? If Episode 1 places Amy in that situation, viewers could see a side of her that has not been shown in a long time. She may have to choose between what feels safe and what she truly wants. The ranch itself could also become an important part of the story. Heartland has always been more than just a location. It is the place where the family comes together, where old memories remain, and where some of the biggest emotional moments have happened. But Season 20 could ask whether Heartland can remain the same forever. Changes around the ranch could create pressure for Amy and the rest of the family, especially if someone makes a decision that nobody saw coming. And then there is the question of the release. Fans are watching closely for official news because the premiere date will give everyone a clearer idea of when this next chapter begins. But the real excitement will come from what Episode 1 reveals. A premiere can change the entire mood of a season with just one scene. And Heartland has plenty of history when it comes to emotional surprises. There could also be a hidden clue in the first episode that connects to the bigger story of Season 20. Something that looks small at first could become extremely important later. A conversation, a visitor, a difficult choice, or even a moment involving one of the horses could point toward a much larger conflict. So while fans are waiting for the official premiere details, one thing is becoming clear. Episode 1 may not simply be another beginning. It could be the episode that tells us exactly what kind of Heartland story we are about to experience. And if the season really is preparing for an emotional goodbye, the first warning sign could appear much earlier than anyone expects. What if the biggest surprise in Heartland Season 20 is not about a new enemy, a new horse, Or even a dramatic family argument? What if the real twist is a decision Amy makes that changes the direction of her entire life? That is where episode 1 could become much more emotional than fans are expecting. Amy has spent years putting everyone else first, but this time, she may finally have to ask herself what she wants. The shocking twist could begin with something that seems completely normal. Amy could receive unexpected news, meet someone from the past, or face a situation involving a horse that brings back memories she thought she had left behind. At first, it may look like another problem she needs to solve, but as the story develops, the real issue could become much bigger. Amy may realize that solving this one problem means making a choice about her own future, and that choice could affect the entire Heartland family. Imagine Amy standing at the ranch, looking around at the place that has shaped so much of her life. While knowing that something may have to change, she could be facing a chance to follow a new path, but taking it might mean spending less time at Heartland. For someone who has always been connected to the ranch, that would not be an easy decision. It could also create tension with the people who believe she should stay exactly where she is. This is where the emotional side of season 20 could become powerful. Amy may not want to leave anyone behind, but growing up sometimes means accepting that life cannot stay the same forever. The people around her may also have their own plans, dreams, and fears. If everyone starts moving in different directions, Amy could find herself trying to hold together a family that is naturally changing. There is another possibility that makes this twist even more interesting. The shocking moment may not happen because Amy wants something new. It could happen because circumstances force her into a decision she never planned to make. One unexpected event could suddenly turn a normal day at Heartland into a moment the family will never forget. And if that happens in episode 1, it could become the main mystery of the entire season. Fans may spend episode after episode wondering whether Amy will stay, move forward, or make a choice that changes everything. The most important question is not simply what happens to Amy. It is whether she can protect the Heartland she loves while still building the future she deserves. And that question could lead directly to the biggest mystery of all. Is season 20 preparing Amy and the family for one final goodbye? There is one question hanging over Heartland season 20 that fans cannot ignore. What if this is not just another chapter, but the beginning of the end? The idea of a final goodbye becomes even more emotional when we remember how many years Amy and her family have spent at the ranch. For fans, Heartland is not simply a show about horses. It is a story about family, growing up, losing people, finding love, facing change, and holding on to the places that feel like home. That is why even a small change in season 20 could feel much bigger than it seems. If episode 1 shows Amy looking toward a different future, it may be a sign that the writers are preparing the characters for major changes. Someone could leave the ranch. Someone could return unexpectedly. A family relationship could enter a new stage. Even the way Amy works with horses could change. Any of these moments could become part of a much larger ending. But there is another side to this theory. A final season does not always have to mean sadness from beginning to end. It can also mean giving characters a chance to complete stories that have been building for years. If season 20 is moving toward a goodbye, Amy could finally receive the kind of future she has been working toward. The ranch could enter a new era, while younger members of the family begin taking on more responsibility, and that could make episode 1 extremely important. The premiere may give viewers the first real clue about whether Heartland is closing a chapter or opening another one. The writers could use a simple emotional moment to show that the family is changing. Maybe Amy looks at the ranch and remembers how much has happened there. Maybe another character says something that sounds ordinary at first but carries a much deeper meaning. These moments could tell us more than any huge dramatic event. Of course, fans should also remember that theories are not the same as official confirmation. Until the network or the show's creators reveal the full plans, the final goodbye idea remains a question rather than a fact. And honestly, that uncertainty is what makes season 20 so exciting, because when episode 1 finally begins, viewers will not only be watching to see what happens next, they will be looking for clues about what comes after that. Will Amy protect the life she has built at Heartland? Will the family face a change nobody expected? Or could the season slowly lead everyone toward one unforgettable farewell? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. Episode 1 has the chance to set the emotional tone for everything that follows. And the biggest surprise may be hiding in a moment that nobody thinks twice about. By the time Heartland Season 20 Episode 1 comes to an end, fans may be left with one thought: something has changed. It may not be obvious at first, but the small details could be more important than the biggest moments. A decision from Amy, a surprising conversation, a new problem at the ranch, or an unexpected return could quietly set up a story that continues throughout the entire season. And that is what makes this premiere so interesting. The real shock may not be something that happens in the opening minutes. It could be something revealed near the end, leaving fans with questions about what Amy will do next. If she is forced to choose between her past and her future, the answer could affect everyone around her. The biggest mystery is still the future of Heartland itself. After so many years, can the ranch remain the same? Can Amy continue the life she has always known while also moving forward? These questions could become the emotional heart of Season 20. There is also the possibility that the season will bring the family closer together instead of tearing them apart. Sometimes a major change is exactly what makes people realize how important they are to each other. If Episode 1 introduces a serious challenge, it could give Amy and her family a reason to stand together once again. But if this really is the beginning of the final chapter, the clues may be emotional rather than dramatic. We could see characters reflecting on the past, talking about the future, or making decisions that feel like the closing of an old chapter. Those moments would make the season feel very different, especially for longtime viewers who have followed Amy since the beginning. For now, the biggest question remains unanswered. Is Heartland Season 20 giving us a brand new beginning? Or is it slowly preparing us for one final goodbye? Whatever the answer turns out to be, Episode 1 could be the key. It may introduce a twist that changes Amy's path, reveal a new direction for the ranch, and give fans the first real clue about where this story is heading. So when Season 20 Episode 1 arrives, watch closely. The biggest clue may not come from the most dramatic scene. It could be hidden in a simple look, a quiet conversation, or one decision that seems small at first, because sometimes on Heartland, the moments that look like the end are actually the beginning of something completely unexpected.